So we are going to share with you some of the initial floor plan concepts that we've put together. And I think just like when we started showing the pool design, these are one step beyond colored blocks on a piece of paper. So it's going to look really detailed because we have to get it to a level of detail to start making decisions. But there's still a lot of flexibility on the inside. These haven't even been to our design committee yet. So I encourage you to not get too locked in to what you're seeing. It's probably going to be hopefully really similar to this. But we want to help you see the entire context of the building to help make some decisions about what the aquatic space will look at. So Rick is going to give us the high-level view of what's happening on the inside of the building. Too much time.
Okay. So we put this together. And again, Rick Wise, Clark Anderson Partners, heading up the team. So just as an overview, I know you've all seen this, but just to give you some framework of what's happening on site. Community center is this U-shaped element with the courtyard entry upper level from the south. We have the drop-off area along Slater. That's where you're coming into a larger courtyard that would serve both community center and the library, the future library that would occur to the south. Parking structure to the east or to the west with entry point at the lower level here, upper level here, closer to IKEA Wet. Outdoor aquatics on the west side of the community center. Service, as was mentioned earlier, on the north side. Pretty close to being in line with what was in the original master plan. A little different shape of what's happening on the site. The biggest change from what was shown in the master plan and what we're showing today is the incorporation of the parking structure. And that was really to maximize green space. Obviously, in the master plan document, it would have been a sea of parking. Lots of parking on site, not a lot of green space. I think there was a conscious decision to try to come up with a different solution to maximize the amount of remaining green space on the site, and obviously the library being added. I think some of these images are ones you've seen in the past. They're really not much different than that. The building has a U-shaped form. The intent is to really focus that in, as you come into that courtyard space, to have a great internal courtyard area on the upper level that all the spaces revolve around, and then the other spaces are on the lower level. So it's a two-story structure, but as you approach it from Slater, from the south, it'll seem like a one-story building. The materials are quite simple on it. It will be a darker color upper band that goes around the entirety of the community center with areas of glass, trying to bring in as much daylight as possible. This is a view from the southwest. Here's where you start to see the glimpse that we do have a two-story structure. This would be the glass looking out onto the outdoor aquatic space and the pool deck. You go to the next image. This is as you're coming up. It's from the Hobby Lobby side, from the northwest. Again, this is where you really get to see there's a two-story element. The gymnasium is in this area, fitness in this area, again, aquatics, and then the community center, community wing on the upper level. And then again, finally, image from the northeast, the staff area will be here. But you can see materiality-wise, it's quite simple. A darker colored material around the perimeter of the upper level, a lighter colored material around the base. It's primarily seen from the north and from the west.
And I'll just add, we have not gotten deep into the materials conversation yet, so
that's what I'm
there's still
saying,
some work
color.
to be done there.
I'm not going to say what the materials are, because it's still being
Yeah.
identified, and that upper level, we also have the community wing. This is where you're going to have access to 3 large meeting rooms that either be opened up as one or individualized into 3 separate meeting rooms. They all have their own storage, so that if, depending on the function, you want to clear everything out, all the tables and chairs would store in this area. We do have a catering kitchen on the south end that would serve this entire area. And then it's intended that this entire space, as you enter those meeting rooms, and then in the southwest corner of the meeting wing is all gallery area. You have a nice gallery component at your current facility. It's trying to bring that into the new facility. This is where the office space would be, as well as restrooms, and then a child watch area for when you need to drop a child when you come into the facility. The lower level, again, 2-story structure. This is the only area that is 2-story. There is no 2-story component underneath the office and community wing. That was all slab on grade. So you come down these stairs into a gathering area, lounge area, and then you have a choice of going into the gymnasium, access to the locker rooms. This is sort of the back of house service components, a lifeguard office area, and then all of the aquatic space. We also have a family change area, so that if you wanted to, if I was to come with my daughter, I could go into this area and we could have that changing opportunity so that you don't have to use men's and women's. So there's this opportunity and this for access to the pool. And then you would exit here to go to the pool deck. Go back one slide. This is that single point entry into the facility. So you do have that control. Everybody who's going through this to be checked in to either come into the rest of the exercise space or to come into the community room space. Any questions about the plans as I progress?
Back to the last slide where you were showing me the single point entry space.
Yes.
Is that the primary reason that the design was changed from what was, in the previous plan to a horseshoe shape?
No. So as we explained as part of the last set of public meetings, when we started looking at the site, we realized that there really weren't there's nothing to look at on the site. It's built to a hill and it faces a residential area. And so we started to have the conversation of where do these windows look? How do we create a community experience in this area? And so the concept was to have the building start to look in on itself. That's why we have all the glass on the inside. We created this courtyard. It ends up providing a good connection with the library. So even though that was an initial concept for the building, once we really got into the site and we started looking at the other components, we developed a plan that we thought better fit the need of everything that needed to happen on the site.
So that, as part of the master plan, the team that did that, we had no input as staff or the steering committee as to what the shape of the building would be. The goal of that was to show it fits, and this is the square footage, and this is one way it can fit, and that was stressed to the steering committee that it was just, and when we had public meetings as information, that was stressed as this is not what the building, it could look like this, but we can't say it's going to look like this.
Yeah, I understand that. The reason that I'm asking this question is because by creating the horseshoe, we are using some of this easy to build on space and making it open space. The original plan, you can see, didn't extend much beyond the gym. This is going to extend much further, which means that the building has to be pushed back towards IKEA, leaving less room for aquatics than if that. So essentially, it is a design choice that has had an impact on essentially the availability of space on the outdoor aquatics portion. So I was just wondering if that was factored in when that change was made.
Yeah. And I will share that as we've gone out to the community and started to show this shape, one of the main points of feedback we get is people really like that it's not a square building, that it's creating this community and gathering a space that not only allow
think there's also another thing that, I can see where you're driving at. You're kind of making the assumption that, hey, if we have this design, at some point, we're going to have to come to the realization, we're not going to be able to put a 50-meter pool here.
Yeah,
That was never one of the considerations when we had this design. There would be no reason why this design would have a negative impact on the pool when the pool was always going to be built to be a 25-meter pool. This is the perfect size design for that. It's not going to have any impact on it at all. Now, if you want to try to make that into a 50-meter pool, then now we got some problems. But that was never part of the conversation because we knew going in that there's a good chance that just wasn't going to be part of the picture going forward in our future.
It also doesn't change the aquatic budget, the piece of the budget. However, I mean, the building square feet costs a certain amount and the aquatic square feet costs a certain amount. And during the ballot initiative, we were pretty clear that we were using what's in the master plan to show adjacencies. You probably heard us say that. I mean, more times than we were blue in the face for doing so, saying, you know, this is just to show it fits on the site. We'll actually get into the design because staff didn't have input, you know, into how it actually functions from a business perspective with that.
I'm just pointing out the use of the site and some of the trade-offs.
Yep.
Whether or not people understood that, you know, we are now obviously asked to make a decision that is going to affect our community. It's probably one of the most important decisions, the most important decision any of us as council members will make. This is a $30 to $35 million project, and so we do need to get it right. And we need to know exactly what it is that we're deciding in all of the parameters. Because if you change the configuration of the building, yes, we've lost some money in design, but we haven't built it yet.
Sure.
And so the relative functionality portion of it is what we need to be talking about. And that's kind of where I'm coming from. I'm concerned that residents may not fully understand what this current proposal means. And I think we have to understand it better. So that's all that's why I'm asking these questions, just to kind of clarify some of the plans.
Rick, I was wondering, is that single entrance, is that still, that's that same entrance going to be for the outdoor aquatic center as well?
Yeah.
So as they come out of there, the swimming pool, I mean, currently, when you think of pools, I don't dry off, I just trudge through out to my car and get in and put a towel down on my seat. What's that do for the corridor going through, those individuals that don't want to dry their kids off, or don't want to dry off, to walk through, back through the main building to get to that one exit?
I think that's a good point. I think we do need materiality within that lower level to make sure that we're accommodating that. It's really about control. We're making sure that the end of our staff know who's coming to the facility. We talked about, do we have secondary entrances? And it really becomes problematic how you manage that.
It's not just Ann and her staff, it's also the children's area.
Right.
We need to have that control there
Yeah.
to be sure that the children are safe.
Right. So I think your point about taking water through the facility, I've done the same thing in the past as well. We need to take that into account as we're looking at materiality so that that water is absorbed and not becoming slip hazards or maintenance issues down the road.
So Bob, I will tell you from experience, because I have worked in a facility that has indoor and outdoor aquatics, they're used differently. And I think people are so used to us only having outdoor aquatics, and you just walk out and you're done. People do use indoor-outdoor facilities that are joint. They do use them differently from the standpoint of when they leave the outdoor and go indoor. They'll walk back to the locker room, and majority of the time they take the time to dry off, and it's a complete different experience than what you have today.
Well, I've also heard from several individuals who would like to be able to just enter the indoor, outdoor. They don't want to go into the building.
I agree. Yeah.
They just, that's what they want.
I've met lots of residents that want us to have a half-empty pool too, but we have to make some choices about what makes sense for the realities of the community, and behavior can change on an indoor pool versus an outdoor pool, and we can accommodate both of those at some appropriate level. I think what we're here to decide and determine is what's appropriate. I mean, I think that's what we're trying to figure out, what's just right, and just right is a community-wide decision, not just interests.
Isn't there a gate that goes one way that people can walk out of that outdoor pool and not go in?
I think it's hard to see right here, but there's a one-story drop. mezzanine level down into the pool.
One-story drop here, so this area here is up, part of the parking garage is a story above this. There will be fencing here, just for safety, and to contain, there will be fencing on the north side. There will be emergency egress out of those, but no, if you're leaving the pool area outdoor, you will be coming back in through the building unless there is an emergency. Yes, sir.
I think one of the things that was just sort of alluded to, I also think it's important to consider, you know, indoor and outdoor aquatics are in fact different. One is designed to essentially be financially sustainable 12 months out of the year. The other is essentially a summer pool, community pool experience that people and I think they are two different groups of people actually, and so I think that's really important to consider if we're essentially doing something that will result in the summer community pool experience being significantly diminished, or in fact something that will potentially go away where everybody will go somewhere else.
What makes you think that hasn't been considered?
Well, to be honest with you, after I've looked at it, based on the things that I would like to present, I believe that we will not have that. I think we will lose the
I guess my point is that there was a time before you were on council.
Sure.
That we've had a number of discussions about this, what we feel would be best for the community, both indoor and outdoor, and the purposes for those things. We've had studies, we went to visits to different sites that were this way.
Right.
We've had a number of considerations and discussions and considerations.
Well,
So it's been pretty thoroughly discussed and considered. As far as I'm concerned, I've been here the whole time.
sure. And I am new, as a matter of fact.
But I just want to make sure you understand that, because it's not like it hasn't been considered. I just want to make sure that you understand that.
No, I do understand that, but I believe that if you actually will look at this, we have had a series of kind of shifting down in terms of the outdoor aquatics, and I don't think people are necessarily aware of that. And we may not even know we're doing it, but I think that's what's happening.
Well, you could characterize it that way. The way I characterize it is we're getting the size of aquatics that we've been working with from almost day one. There hasn't been any shifting. The size of our outdoor aquatics hasn't gotten any smaller since when we started this discussion. We haven't asked you guys or anyone else to design a pool smaller for the outside.
No.
Hasn't happened. So no, that's not the case at all. We actually have a design of the community center that we've been asking for based on the studies that we've done in the community and also with practical consultants. We have the facility that we've asked them to design. Not less of a facility for any reason other than the fact that we only have $30 million to spend. Now, if we had $60 million to spend, our facility would be a lot different.
Sure.
But it doesn't.
And Mayor System, over the years that I've been on the council, the thing I kept hearing again and again and again is we want indoor swimming. We want to be able to swim year round. This is what we're going to get.
At the cost of losing the outdoor?
No, both.
Well, I know we're not to this point yet, but I've been looking at this pretty hard, and it is my belief that we will actually have about 1/6. Well, it's going to be more than that but not much more. 1/6 of the recreational space in the outdoor pool available in the summer.
But how much more inside that we've never had?
Well, okay, let's go back and look at the indoor aquatics. Where in that facility are people going to be able to put their lawn chairs or their chairs and relax around it? I don't see that there's room around any of that. I think what this is essentially a health club pool. It is a pool where people will come, they will go into their locker room, change their clothes, go do their laps, exercise, dry off, put their clothes back on, get in their car and go. It's an entirely different thing than the summer neighborhood pool experience. And,
First of all, from that picture right there, what's the distance to the wall to the edge of the pool? Do you know that, David? What's the distance?
Well, I don't, but
Okay, so we know there's not room for a chair?
Okay, let me ask the question.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at.
How
is that
much,
there are
how
no
much room is there for you to, collaborate on the, in the deck space there?
Do your master dimensions. Andrew?
I think part of it, yeah.
Yeah, no, probably. It's probably about 8. Right now, I'd say this is probably about 8 feet around the deck. It's around the perimeter. Again, we're trying to
Enough room
maximize
for a
water.
bench?
We're trying to maximize
So,
water.
yeah, and I think you also have to, like Anna said, how people use indoor pools is how they use outdoor pools. If you go to most indoor pool spaces, they don't have a ton of lawn chairs because people are not lounging on chairs indoors. Most of the time, if they come, they're in the pool. We need places for people to sit. We need places for people to store their items. There's going to be times when people want to be out of the pool, but it's not the same sun deck experience as you create outside because one has a roof and one doesn't. And so we do have to look at people who utilize these spaces differently.
Which is actually my point, that there's, the outdoor experience is a different group of folks. And so if you're doing away with that, I mean,
Well, let's get to the outdoor portion of it. So
Yeah.
we can get it up on the screen and we can talk about it.
Yeah. So I think Rick has some.
But I think you are asking though when you go, because women who've gotten rid of technically the big slide chair go inside. So you use the slide if you, the lazy river, you gotta go inside the lazy river. Those people that now you're saying outside, that we don't have it outside to offer to them, have to come inside. If I come inside to watch my kids do that, I don't necessarily want to be out in the water with them. I want to sit down in a chair and watch them do it.
And there'll be space,
got deck space.
there'll be space to do that. The fun thing about indoor and outdoor products is the people that want to camp outdoors, that want to set up outdoors, because that's what, they will do that. The people that want to camp indoors will camp indoors. They will make it work. It's about a different experience. And I've had the same conversation with staff when we talk about the change in operations. Even my staff are going, well, what about this and what about that? We all are going to have to make some adjustments in regards to how we currently use the space today. We had the same conversation with the Meals on Wheels people in regards to moving into the new facility, how their operation is going to change and how we can accommodate them. But there's also going to have to be some give or take on their side because of the space that we're currently assigning to them.
I think it's also important to note we're still looking at identifying the amenities. I mean, we still have a couple more iterations of design once we identify the amenities that need to fit in this space. And so you're not seeing every feature that we're part of the book. Right now we have 6 options that we've had to develop. And so once we choose a direction, then we'll start going into refining that design, looking at where seating goes, looking at where specific splash areas go. So I understand it's not up here right now, but I can assure you it's a conversation we're having, and we know we have to meet that need before we're able to move into the next
Flip that back one more time because I'm just going to look at a lot of plans as a fire marshal. I assume this is all to scale, correct?
Yes.
So if you take that outside door, which was probably 3-0 doors,
This,
that door right there,
now,
3-0 door. Okay, it's swinging out so far. Swing that inside. And how wide is that corridor right there? If that door swings in, are you going to have 8 feet of corridor there? There's no way. That's an 8-foot door. It's almost going to take the entire width of that when it goes over there. Swing that door in.
I know. I did the math myself.
You did the math? Okay. All right. Well, I don't want people to be thinking that's an 8-foot corridor when it's not.
right.
Well, it's deck space, not
The deck
corridor
space.
either, but
Right.
yeah. So I can't give you the exact dimensions, but again, I think the goal is maximizing water, and to maximize water, so it is figuring out that right compromise. How much deck space you want, how much water you want, how many amenities. This is indoor lap lanes. We've got 2 slide elements, 0 depth water entry, therapy pool, and then the lazy river. So there's a lot of different amenities, and I think was trying to get as much into the indoor experience and as much into the outdoor experience as possible to maximize utilization for all the citizens.
I would also imagine that, Anna, you might be able to speak to this, or Rick.
Yeah.
Outdoor, you're in a lounge chair. You probably want to be in a lounge chair in a prone position. When you're inside and there's no sun, my assumption is you're going to be sitting down in a chair. And so the level of deck space that you need might be different too. I can't speak to the dimensions in there, but I mean, indoor, I would imagine you're just sitting there watching whatever, waiting for something to happen. If you're outdoors, you're sun king in it, sun queen in it. You're probably want to be permanent.
But again, you're almost making a point that they're two different groups of folks, and if they, you
It's
know.
where they're at, they're doing something
Right,
different.
right,
It might
but-
be the same folks.
Right, but might be, but that's, not what I've been hearing from, when I've been out to the pool several times, talking to folks. They point out that in the summer, even if they use an indoor facility during the winter, they would prefer to be out there in the fresh air. Indoor pools have chlorine smell, no matter how well you do with
And we want to
with your
provide them the
ventilation.
ability to be
So
outside.
they want to be outside. They want the sun. They want to be able to soak up the sun and get in the water. And so it's a different group of folks. And all I'm saying is we need to make sure when we design this that if we are in fact not going to have an outdoor facility that is I recognize this can't be the same, but if it is 25%, is that right sized? I don't believe that it probably will be. And that's the reason I'm asking these questions and I'm raising these issues, because we need to know, and everybody here who's voting on this, now is the time to change it if it's not right before this thing gets built. Because if we don't do that, and people say there's no outdoor facility here worth going to, in 3 or 4 years, they're going to be asking us to build another outdoor aquatic center somewhere.
So,
That's my concern.
Going back to this,
Yes.
is there a way that we could expand the network by moving the southeast wall where that 3 is, see the 3,
Yep.
out and kind of reduce the landscaping and get more deck work in?
And sure, yeah.
And that's underground.
This one, there's no limitations.
Yeah.
So there's cost.
Yeah, there's cost.
Yeah, there's cost. Once again, we've got time and we've got cost. If neither or one of those doesn't matter, we have much more leeway.
It's either
what
we
makes
reduce
sense.
indoor water or we increase deck space by moving the
Is
walls.
that a 25 meter, or are we trying to keep that size? I know we're not, you say maximize, but
Yeah, I believe that is 25 meters.
4-lane, 25.
it is 25, so it's not like we
Yeah, I
want,
think
people
we-
want to practice, they want 25.
I think it would be helpful
Can't
to
make
see
25.
some of the renderings of the inside, and then we can circle back
Sure.
around to the pool.
Yeah, and, okay, so these are all black and white, because colors are not yet determined, just want to give you that disclaimer. So this is in the upper level, as you're looking down from the upper level to the pool facility, there will be that glass. You can see the lazy river component, the slide elements, the therapy pool, black lanes being in the distance, glass to the exterior, the outdoor pool deck in that area. This is, if you could actually be this high up in the southwest corner of the pool area, showing the lap lanes, again, the slide component, the entry point here, family change area, and then the therapy pool here. This would be where the lifeguard offices would be, and this would be where you enter the pool facility, or the pool area from lockers, or that door, you're coming out family change. And then that was the window we were looking through just a second ago. This is more at pool deck level. If you came out of that family change area, again, stairs down, deeper water, same depth as the lap lanes, entry point into the lazy river. Again, one big body of water, therapy pool being separate. 2 slide elements, one more of a family slide, wider, more people can use at once, and then a single-use slide. This is just an image from within the lifeguard area, the office. This is where they would be helping people, and back to some locker areas, a direct view out into the outdoor aquatic space, so they have easy access. We do have two pool party rooms directly off the pool deck interior, so that if you did want to rent or use one of those 2 party rooms, this would be that room, and then access directly out into the pool area. If you care about lockers, but an image of within the locker area, what that might look like. This is that fit bar we talked about. So you're coming around the elevator, you have access to this, direct access to the fitness area with all the treadmills and other associated fitness equipment, and then that would be the walking track. This would be looking down from the fitness area to the gym, striped to accommodate all different kinds of activities, volleyball, basketball, pickleball, with the walking track around the perimeter. And this is that entry point. You come into a reception desk where staff would greet you. This would take you back into the office area. You can start to see glimpses of the gymnasium and beyond. And this is looking down the gallery alley, taking you to the community rooms, where this would be placement, location for placement of art. A secondary look from an actual larger gallery space looking back down that corridor. Community room, this shows a layout set up as one room, but the potential that it could be opened up into a large event space. This is the child walk space, actually from the back of it, looking toward the entry point, so this is where the children would be going. And then just some office images within the office area. So those are just some interior shots. We're still in the middle design. Those all get resolved in much better quality moving down the road. Yes, sir.
Since I haven't seen these before, can you go back to
which one?
just kind of work your way back to the
one I'm looking for.
keep going. Okay, first of all, the fit bar. What is that exactly? Is that a place where people can buy stuff or what?
No purchases. This is going to be, when you have a fitness center, you usually have fitness attendants, people that need to maintain and work in the fitness area. So this is going to serve two purposes. That will be the location for the fitness attendants to help patrons to the fitness center. There will also be towels there. They're usually little bar towels that people take so that when they're sweating, they can mop themselves in the floor in the area around them. But then it'll be a nice little congregation place because we've learned also that several people come to a fitness center to make friends and hang out. And so sometimes they'll do that before, after. But also this will be where consults can take place so that if you have a specific fitness plan that you need to review, somebody can sit there and review that with you and have a conversation. So it's kind of a different type of community space than a true lounge, but it serves a purpose for the fitness space itself.
It's primarily used
It's
by
gathering.
adults
Or
patrons of the
patrons of the fitness center, because you could have 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds that
Sure. Yeah. But back to the indoor bar side, that was something I wanted to keep going. Or actually, one of the first ones. Okay, so this view, obviously, these are very perspective, skewed.
Yep.
Just look kind of where they are. But so we have the therapy pool, we have the lazy river, and we have the slides. And then we have this other little section
Right here.
in here that's the children's area. Is that correct?
That's more of the zero depth entry space and shallow one. Yes.
So there are going to be some things in there for
Like
children.
spray features. Yes.
How big is that relative to compared to, for example, the current kiddie pool that we have outside?
I don't know if you broke it down that way or not.
We can get you that.
I would like to know that.
Okay.
Because the only thing he broke it down is total capacity and then
Right.
summer and non-summer capacities. He did not break it down by pools.
And we do have an aquatics consultant on our team, and that's all they do, aquatics design group out of California.
One of the things that I'm asking questions because there are a number of things that, a number of different groups that we need to make sure that we're addressing properly and without breaking it down, it's hard for me to.
Understood.
I mean, I can make some guesses, but I'm not.
We can get you that.